There was once a beautiful woman named Hester. Others have always thought she was as happy and as perfect as could be, but in reality she was troubled by many things. She was too greedy and could never have enough money. Even her 3 children would feel the hunger for money. There were voices constantly spiraling around the house, chanting, "There must be more money." Nothing would ever seem right in the house. When the children played with their toys, they would hear the chant, "There must be more money. There must be more money," again and again.
One day her son Paul confronted her and asked, "Why don't we keep a car of our own, like Uncle Oscar?" He said he had overheard his uncle talk about filthy lucre, which he had misheard as filthy lucre. Even though his mother knew he heard wrong, she still played along. Hester then explained that in life, luck isn't essential to become successful. The reason why the family was so poor was that both their father and mother had low-income jobs, and the only way to succeed was to have luck. She had married Paul's father for love, but that love had turned out to be dust when she realized that her husband was unlucky. Paul then claims that he is a lucky person according to God, and his mother sarcastically replies back to him, which angered him because his mother did not take him seriously.
After their conversation, all Paul thought about was ways to find some luck for the family. And so he hopped onto his wooden rocking horse and rocked away vigorously, seeking the true meaning of luck. He believed that if he rode the horse hard enough, it would take him somewhere to luck.
His mother, watching over him as he rocks his horse furiously, begins to feel worried because she is overly concerned about Paul's well-being, knowing that she internalizes her children's thoughts and judgments. Meanwhile, Paul's uncle, Oscar Croswell, encourages Paul to continue pursuing his dreams for this luck.
"That's right, son. Don't stop until you get there. What's the horse's name?" asked Uncle Oscar. The boy explained that the horse didn't have just one name. No, it had several names. Last week it was Sansilvino. It had turned out that Bassett, a young gardener, has been talking to Paul about horse racing. Sansilvino was the name of the winning horse just 1 week ago. It also turned out that Bassett had been secret partners in business with Paul. They were able to rake in large amounts of money by betting on horses. Paul and Bassett decided to let Oscar in on the secret partnership because they believed he could be lucky as well. After all, it was the first 10 shillings given by Uncle Oscar which has started Paul and Bassett's winning streak.
Upon discovering his own gift, Paul truly believes that he has unlocked the truth behind luck, and he chooses to prove this fact by claiming that he knows the name of winning horses. Oscar and Bassett play along with Paul as they both did not fully believe his claims, so they let him decide which horse to bet on. This week, he was sure that Daffodil was to bring home the gold. Oscar tried to convince Paul to choose a different horse, one that wasn't so slow, but Paul insisted that Daffodil was going to win the race, so Oscar placed Paul's share of bets on that horse. Of course, Daffodil ended up winning.
After the successful prediction of Daffodil being the winner of the horse race, Oscar asked Paul what his motives were. Paul explained, "I started it for Mother. She said she had no luck because Father is unlucky. So I thought if I was lucky, it might stop whispering." "What might stop whispering?" asked Oscar. "Our house. I hate our house for whispering."
Paul went on and filled his horse racing buddies in on all the details, including his fear that his mother would stop him if she found out about the betting of the horses, and so the three made an agreement to keep it all on the low. On another note, it was nearing Hester's birthday. Since Paul was receiving a significant amount of income, he decided to send an anonymous £1,000 invoice through the family lawyer to her as a birthday gift. He sent a total of £5,000, which are to be collected in £1,000 increments annually over the next few years. But when Hester opened up this letter, she immediately requested her lawyer to claim the entirety of her money at once. Paul thought it wouldn't do any harm, so he agreed.
Upon receiving the £5,000, Paul's mother spends it on extravagant home decor and an expensive tutor. With all the sudden expensive changes within the house, the whispers from the walls grow louder and louder, saying there must be more money.
The voices grew louder and even more demanding, and Paul became more and more restless. Hester notices Paul's sudden tense and unusual behavior, and with that, his mother became increasingly anxious. Deep inside, Hester knows that the son is terribly ill.
As the days pass by, Paul's mental well-being starts to diminish, and it changes the way he acts towards his family. 2 days before the Derby, when Hester is attending a night party, she suddenly becomes tremendously worried for Paul and gives the call to Miss Wilmot, the nursery governess at home. "Are the children all right, Miss Wilmot?" asked Hester. "Oh, yes, they are quite all right." "Master Paul, is he all right?" "He went to bed as right as a trivet. Shall I run up and look at him?" "No, don't trouble, it's all right."
Hester hangs up, but inside she still holds a feeling of uneasiness. Hester still had the gut feeling that Paul was very ill. Later that night, after her husband and her had driven back home, Hester felt a strange anxiety at her heart. She creeped up the long staircase to her son's bedroom. Her fingertips trembled as she gingerly turned the door handle with arrested muscles, listening. Frozen with anxiety and fear, she cracks the door open ajar to find something plunging to and fro. She turned the lights on to find her son madly surging in bewilderment on his wooden rocking horse.
"Paul," she cried, "whatever are you doing?" "Malabar! It's Malabar! Bassett! Bassett! I know! It's Malabar!" screamed Paul. "What does he mean by Malabar?" asked Hester. "I don't know," said Father Stoneleigh.
After that night, Paul fell into a harsh illness. For the next 3 days and nights, he tossed and turned unceasingly on his bed. Nothing seemed to prove a proper remedy for his sickness. On the 3rd day, Bassett came to visit Paul.
"Master Paul, Malabar came first. You've made over 70,000 pounds. And with that, Master Paul sprang back to life. "Malabar, Malabar! Did I say Malabar, Mother? I never told you, Mother, that if I can ride my horse and get there, then I'm absolutely sure. Oh, absolutely! Mother, did I ever tell you? I am lucky." "No, you never did," Hester replied. That night, the boy passed away.
During the length of the story, Paul's gifts were exploited for money, which was quickly squandered on secular goods by his family. Even after his death, Oscar makes an unhelpful attempt to comfort his sister, saying, "My goodness, Hester, you're more than 70-odd thousand to the good and a poor double of the son to the bad." As this dark and cryptic story comes to an end, readers are reminded to always be grateful for what things you already have without succumbing to the power of greed.